Hi Jewies, here's Alexandra and welcome to my next video. In this tutorial I will show you how to paint a town, and for that we will start by building this little thing. This miniatures or sprues here were sponsored from Canvas 1, good friend of mine, and yeah, thank you buddy for enabling me to do this tutorial. So, when you have the miniatures on the sprue, you most likely want to break them apart, but no, don't do that, because if you break the stuff, then it could happen that, yeah, you damage the miniature, and for that part, you simply use a simple clipper, and then you clip off the parts you need. Just like that. So, I will clip off the rest of the parts and be right back. So Chewies, there we have now all the spare parts. And the next thing we need to do is to clean up the mold lines. What this is, when you look close here, this is a mold line. This is the part where the two parts of the mold are put together, and sometimes there's a little bit leak of plastic, and that is the rest of it. To remove that, you need a hobby knife like this, and then you simply scratch over it, and you see, et voila, the mold line is gone. Also, you have this stuff here. This is the rest of the bridges. They are so called, the little parts where you clipped off the plastic from the sprue, and you need to cut that away. In order to cut that, you have to be a little bit careful with a hobby knife, because you don't want to cut yourself. So, in order to do that, you hold the knife like that. So you're pressing with the thumb against the plastic of the hobby knife, and then you can pull the knife without the possibility of cutting yourself. Even if you are slipping off, the knife will never hit your thumb, because you're holding it like that. You see? And with that you can clean up this little bit here. So the lines like that. Oops. And when you're done, the whole miniature is ready to be built together. So I will finish up the cleaning process for all the parts, and then we will build the miniature. Be right back. Okie dokie, all the mold lines are cleaned up now, and now it's time to glue this miniature together. You could use super glue for that, but I highly recommend you for plastic miniatures that have not a resin part in it, like the War Machine and Hordes miniatures. So here GW real plastic miniatures. For that you should use plastic glue. I prefer the Revell Contactor Professional. It's a very good plastic glue, and with a special ability of this needle here. With this needle you can make very precise measurements of the amount of glue you are using, and with that you can glue miniatures together without this nasty overflow of glue all around. So I highly recommend these. Also, plastic glue gives a much better bond than super glue, because it doesn't glue actually, it melts the plastic, and when it is hardened again, then the bond is much stronger than a normal glue bond. So, come on. Yeah, my glue is almost empty. I need a new one. But I guess for this miniature there will be enough glue in there. So with this glue, the miniature will be posable much longer than with super glue. Be careful when you glue the miniature together that you don't ruin your positioning. And after you have positioned and lined up all the parts of the miniatures, it will take between 2 and 5 hours to completely set the miniature. That is no longer moving at all. So plastic glue is not the rushy type of glue, so you can't make that super fast. Putting together and painting the miniature, but well, you can prepare several miniatures and have them then lined up to be painted. So now the last part, the shoulder pad. And ta-da! The miniature is completely built and ready to be painted. So I will set him away for a few hours and then we can back and paint him. Be right back. Oh, and by the way, when I'm back, he's probably primed in Army Painter Spray Primer, Uniform Gray. This was now metallic color, but I will prime him in Uniform Gray. So, be right back. Okie dokie. As you can see, after a few hours of drying time, he is now completely set. And he is primed. You can tell by the color of the base now that he is primed in gray. And now we start with a painting part. I thought for color scheme wise, I will not go for the usual yellowish tone. Well, if you want to know how to paint that, you should go to Awesome Paint Job. He has a wonderful tutorial about that. Also, this won't be in red and white. This color scheme, Templar's Crusade 01 nowadays uses for his Tau, so I thought I would go for something totally different. And, well, in the last days I was watching the series of the Green Lantern, and I thought that might be a nice color scheme for Tau. So the color scheme will be all the clothing of him will be in a dark gray, and the armor parts will be in a green. The equipment like weapons and the backpack and the Tau emblems will be in white. I will think that this might be a nice color scheme for Tau. So I will start right away with a shade of Nuln Oil, a good amount of wash. We want to have shadows in the clothes and all the recesses. So we will just start right away with that. just use an old big brush. This here is a size 2 brush, like a base coat brush from GW. So just give it a good coat and we are good to go. So quite easy. Keep in mind that you don't want to have pools on the main surface areas. So wipe them away where they are wet. Like here, for example, right now at the helmet, you simply wipe them off like that. So yeah, I guess this is okay. Normally you would do that then to maybe 5 to 10 models, and yeah. I will let that to dry now for a few hours again, and I'll be back for you in a second. Ta-da! The wash is dry, and as you can see, all the shadow parts here and the clothing and all the miniature is now really nice. And now it's time to really start with the paint job. So as our first color we use Caliban Green. Give it a good shake and put it on your palette. So. And then we start applying the color. So the color is not floating enough, so I put a little bit of water in the color to make it a little bit smoother. And there we go. Yeah, in this case the gray undercoat gives a good base for the green color, and you can see you can paint very easily a very smooth green area. So I try to leave the the recesses where the washers run into in the dark, and paint only the upper parts. And like usual, I will finish this state with all the armor parts of the miniature and then be right back for you. So does it look now after the green layer. And now we will mix up a light gray for the weapons, and for that I use a 2-to-1 mixing ratio of Ulthuan Gray and Eshin Gray. So first some Ulthuan Gray, so 2 parts, and then 1 part of that. And there we go, we have a nice, not too dark gray for the weapons. Also a little bit of water. Yeah, that's good. And now we will start applying that to the whole weapon. Don't worry if it doesn't cover 100%. This is just the base layer. We will highlight that then later with white. Just like that. And as usual, I will continue until all the white parts are done. Okie dokie. So does it look now with the gray mixture on all the armor parts? Or on all the weapon parts, I would say. So, and now we start highlighting the miniature. At first we start with the green. And for that we are mixing now Caliban green with mood green. So for the old GW color range, that would be Dark Angels green and Scorpion green. So just a little bit, put it on the side, and then you're adding a little bit of the green until you're satisfied. Yeah, that's a good color. Also add a little bit of water for the smoothiness. Okie dokie. Then adjust a little bit on a paper towel. And I will start highlighting now, going towards the edge of these panels. I will not highlight this tile with a standard GW edge highlighting method, because I don't like that at all. I will use my standard highlighting method with layering. So does it look, and as you can see, there starts the first color transition. The helmet, we will do the same, but we are going to the top part here. So the edges, we're going only at here, this point, but here we are going from here and here to the middle. So I'll finish up the rest of the armor now and be right back for you. So does it look after the first highlight layer, and now we will continue highlighting even more, and for that we need a little bit more of the color we have mixed previously and increase the brightness with even more mood green. So on the palette here you have the previous color, and then we'll brighten that up. So that was about the previous color. You know, when color is wet it is a little bit brighter than usual, and so we will add another drop, and there we go. Add a little bit of water like usual to make the color smoother. And then we take some and highlight even more. So, just like that. keep the strokes always in the same direction, and you're good to go. So, like I showed you in the Turner tutorial, make the edges from the highlight areas a little bit rough. That increases the smoothness of the blend, or of the highlight rather. It's not really a blend. So in that way you create a nice color transition and make it a nice green, nice and friendly. So, and like I usually say, set the higher you go with the highlights, the faster the highlight layers are to paint. And we are almost done with this layer already. And then we make the final highlight layer with even a little bit more of the mood green. So, yeah, that's good. More of that. A little bit more water. Yeah, that's good. Make the highlights every time a little bit smaller. And here you can really see the different steps. And when you're a little bit more away from the miniature, like that, you can't see the transition at all. And that's what we are looking for. We want to have tabletop miniatures that look nice from above the table, and that is the goal we want to achieve here. So this last highlight step you don't need to have it everywhere, just on the top parts, just like that. And I guess the green's done. So now we can go to highlight the white. And for that, first we had used a mix of Ashen Grey and Old Thorn Grey. Now we will use pure Old Thorn Grey. Give it a good shake. So also adding a little bit of water. Yeah, that's nice. Okie doke. Now we will highlight this color. Keep in mind to leave a little bit of the gray here and there, on the darker gray. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, I will finish up the rest of the gray parts and be right back. Okie doke, it's time for the final highlight layer on the weapons, and for that we use white. Just put it on the palette, and we start painting. And this time only on the top parts. So not everywhere. Because otherwise that wouldn't look shaded at all. So sometimes I get asked how I can paint so fast and still be good at aiming. Well, that comes over time. When you paint a lot, you will get confident in making the correct paint strokes. And that way, you're getting faster at painting. Quite simple. So, okay, the weapons are also done now. Yeah. Okay, and our green lantau is almost done. So now we need a little bit for the lenses, and here this little array. Washing out the brush properly. Okie doke. So we need a red. Let's take the piston red and a little bit of black to make a dark red. So just a little bit. That's maybe a little bit too much black. Yeah. Okay, there we go. That's a good starting point for the red. Yeah, there we go. Also on the sensor array, I'm choosing red for that because it is a nice contrast color for the green. Just a little bit of red into a miniature like that can pop out the green even more. So, and now we will highlight these. Again, a little bit more of the Mephiston red into it to make it brighter. And then you make a crescent moon shape circle around here. See? Painting the lower part of the lens. Then we need another red, Evil Sun Scarlet, to make it brighter. more highlight on the lower part. So here. Okay. Oops. Now a last little dot for the sensor array of red down here. Okay. Now I need white again. Making two little dots. Come on, there and there. And also here. And there. Swing. And I guess we can call it done. Okay, the hoofs maybe we can paint. So let's start with a brown, with a Tau Brown XV88. Shake it more. There you go. Okay, quickly painting the hoofs. Whoop. Personally, that's one thing I don't like at the Tau. This hoof thing they are going with, but what can you do? Love it or hate it. Okay, now I'll highlight that in one little step. We put a little bit of the old one gray into the brown, just a tiny bit to make it brighter. And there we go. Okay, we could now also highlight the gray parts, but I think at first for a troop miniature you want to keep the amount of work at the lowest possible part, and on the second side I kind of like this with a wash. So now it's time to make the base. So I will quickly remove the miniature from our miniature holder. And for those of you that still keeps asking me what this is simple poster tag on an old Citadel color paint pot. So you see I have mounted him on a base with a slot because I hadn't one of the closed ones around, but that's not kind of a big deal. We will close that. We will need a tiny little bit of paper towel for that. Just rip off a tiny bit, like that. So then we will measure that to the right size. Come on. Go through. It's a little bit too wide, so let's rip it again. Okay. Now it fits. Okay, we need that amount. Rip that again. And there we go. This is the filler. And now we need a little bit of white glue. and an old brush. So what we'll do now is paint the base with a white glue. Just like that. Taking the paper and placing it on the spot like that. So we have here a little bit of an overhang. That's not a problem. Just wetten the brush a little bit and push the paper towel a little bit back. So now the lid is closed, and what we'll do now is paint the complete base again with white glue, also over the paper towel. Be careful not to hit the miniature that much. Oh, sorry, I'm out of shot here. So, and with that, you go through your little box of sand, like usual. Wipe off the edges with your finger, and you're good to go. So, next thing after this base is dry is quite easy. Give it a wash with Noon oil, for example. Let that dry, and then you give it a dry brush with brown, and after that with bleach bone. Paint the base corner, the edge of the base in a color of your choice, and the miniature is finished. I won't show you that in this video right now. I have shown that on many miniatures. So, yeah, here's the finished Tau. I hope you liked this tutorial on the Green Lantau, and we see us in the next video. You're Alexandra.